The new Vegas Nexus page has a metric dickload of mods. Mods that can offer custom content like quests and characters and anime titties, or more importantly, mods that alleviate or remove the game's many bugs and issues that got it blueballed on Metacritic when it first came out. I could go over my own mod list, but that would take fucking forever. Instead, I want to talk about some things that aren't on my mod list. There are some things, some tiny, nearly insignificant issues that slip through even my 77 active plugins. So I've decided to make this video as a way of taking my incredibly petty grievances with the game and stapling them to the front door of the modding community, like Martin Luther to the Catholic Church. Actually, this isn't that dramatic. Most of these are just like really minor issues that I can't find solutions to. So, you know, if you're an aspiring modder with skills but no ideas and want to waste your time making very minor fixes to this game, here you go. Now before you type, did you know about this mod that changes movement speed? Yes, I do know about that mod that changes movement speed, and I've tried it and it sucks. But movement speed isn't actually the issue. Acceleration is, or lack of it. I'm gonna get real technical here for a second, so bear with me. When you play New Vegas on keyboard and mouse, your player goes from standing still to max speed, basically like instantly the moment you hit a movement key. You hit W and you're just going forward at max speed, instantly. In theory, this isn't really an issue, but in practice, it can make strafing left and right really awkward when you're close to objects and terrain, or especially in combat, or when you're looking at like a shelf of objects really closely. A lot of games tackle this issue or just kind of get around it by calculating acceleration for your character, but New Vegas was made in the Gamebryo engine, so I get the feeling that implementing that would create a lot of mod compatibility issues and also probably destroy the fabric of reality, so I think a more realistic solution might just be implementing like a short speed curve just when you start moving, but I have no idea what effect that might have on, say, jumping or other mechanics, so shrug. Oh, and speaking of jumping, I noticed that your first jump, when you jump, has a weird slow bit partway through the jump. Consecutive jumps, totally normal, but up to the apex of the first jump, it feels like you're just moving through gelatin or something. I don't know, I'm probably the only one that gets annoyed by this, but it's really noticeable to me. It's weird. So the standard companion limit in New Vegas is 1 humanoid plus 1 robot-oid. And when you deviate from the formula, there can be some spots in the game where things get a little bit weird. The best example is probably like the Lucky 38 penthouse, where, you know, you can just have companions show up for some reason. But there are other load zones and like fast travel and scripted events where having more than 2 companions or even just 2 humanoid companions will just kind of break things in a weird way. You'll have them standing in front of you when you're talking to someone, or you'll just be inside of them in the worst way. Honestly, this is more like a bug fix, really, than a mod, but I have not found anything for this on the Nexus. Oh yeah, and if you recommend me Companions Command and Control as a solution for this, I will beat up your dad. I want to kill people with barrels. Do you see this? You see this right here? I'm not moving my mouse. Now I get why the Pip-Boy moves. It's on your arm. And you can't just hold perfectly still. I get that. But the Pip-Boy is your map, your inventory, your stats. The Pip-Boy is your life. And it sways. I hate it. Let's say you want to spruce up your guns. There's a plethora of mods on the Nexus that'll handle that. The textures, meshes, sound effects, all of this can be reworked with mods. For energy weapons, however, there is essentially one mod, and that's Eve, or Essential Visual Enhancements. Eve does complete overhauls of basically all the energy weapons, but as the name implies, it also does some other stuff. It changes the effects for like explosions and flames, it changes lasers and plasma. It also changes and adds a bunch of new sound effects. Now look, I'm not about to shit on Eve because I think Eve is generally like a really good mod with a lot of excellent work in it, but there's some stuff I don't like in it, and like there's a few sound effects which are kind of obnoxious, and in general, like the plasma changes just make me wish that I had vanilla plasma instead, and that's all like my personal taste, and I don't expect the mod makers to like take notes from what I think on this. But my real point here is that Eve could easily be 2 or even 3 separate mods with all of its features. But the developers of Eve have explicitly said that they have no intention of splitting it or even making it configurable, which is kind of weird. I would assume that has to do with just the way that the mod has been built slowly over time, and that making it configurable or splitting it up would be some sort of really unreasonable hassle for the devs. But man, it would be nice. Sometimes the combat AI can incidentally break, and everyone will run around thinking that there's combat happening when there isn't. The usual cause for this is fast traveling while in combat, which can actually happen more often than you think. You're not supposed to be able to fast travel when enemies are nearby, but it turns out that nearby just means on your compass. So if you fast travel away from nearby enemies who just aren't on your compass, the game will indefinitely think that you're in combat. The workaround fix for this is just to kill something so your companions can realize that combat's over afterwards. But I think this bug might be a sign of underlying issues in the combat AI that could use like some adjustment or reworking maybe. I don't know, like most other topics here, I'm probably talking way out of my depth with this, and maybe this requires some kind of engine level re-examination of AI mechanics, but there's only a few mods on the Nexus that I'm aware of that even broach AI behavior, and let alone combat AI. The only comprehensive one for combat is about 10 years old at this point. It's probably worth having another go at it. You know all that graffiti that's strewn about the Lonesome Road? The ones that say stuff like, "You can go home, Courier," and "Courier 6," and "Lonesome Road"? Yeah, they're kind of fucking lame, and it would be better off if about 95% of them were just removed. Like, who's writing these? Ulysses? I have a hard time imagining Ulysses taking time out of his day to tag up the walls of the Divide like an 8th grade bathroom stall, but who else would it be? The Marked Men? It just kind of takes away from the drama of chasing this dude down across the Divide when you see some dumb scribbles he wrote on the wall every 5 minutes. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Ultimately, this is all just my fantasy mod wish list. I don't expect anyone to watch this video and go, "Oh, I'll make that," because pretty much everything here is a molehill with a mountain of code looming over it. I am curious though to hear if any of you have dream mods that don't exist yet. Now this is the part where I'm supposed to tell you to like leave a comment and like or whatever, but I know that some of you, about 10% of you, have probably already left a dumb comment after watching like a minute of the video. And you know what? That's great. Bless your hearts, you dumb motherfucker. As always, my own mod list is in the description. I've been updating it pretty frequently, trying to iron out stuff, and I'll give up sooner or later, so I have that to look forward to. I thought about making a video just breaking down and explaining the mod list, but kind of sounds like a pain in the ass, so I'm not gonna make it unless people really want it. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna be streaming Fallout 4 next on the Twitch. I got it pretty cheap on a Steam sale recently, and I have not played it in 5 years since I played it on the Xbox. So that'll be interesting. I don't think I ever played any of the DLCs actually, so we'll see if that game is as I remember it. Also, Deus Ex Part 2 soon, when I start editing. And stop writing bad patch notes, please. Just be specific.